With the latest happenings from around Northwest Iowa and Southwest Minnesota, this is KICD News.
And I'm Audrey McIrvin at the KICD News Desk. An unoccupied trailer home in Milford was destroyed by fire Sunday morning. The Milford Fire Department was alerted to the blaze at Lot 307 at the Pioneer Trailer Court at 1411 6th Street at 3:30 a.m. Sunday. 2 firemen and 2 emergency medical technicians were already in the neighborhood on a medical call. The firefighters immediately checked out the call and found heavy smoke pouring out of the structure. They returned to the fire station, helped man a unit, and returned to start attacking the fire with onboard water. A crew from Arnold's Park, Okoboji arrived and set up a supply line to the hydrant. Both fire departments were on the scene for 4 hours. The trailer was a total loss, but did not spread to surrounding structures. The Milford Fire Department thanks Arnold's Park, Okoboji, in addition to police from Milford and Arnold's Park, the Dickinson County Sheriff's Department, Milford Municipal Utilities, and Black Hills Natural Gas, in addition to the dispatcher for helping map the closest hydrants while the trucks were en route. And a 26-year-old Spencer man was sentenced to prison for illegally possessing a firearm. According to the United States Attorney's Office, Casey Tuttle pled guilty in federal court in Sioux City in August to being a prohibited person in possession of a firearm. Tuttle was previously convicted in 2021 in the Iowa District Court of burglary, 3rd degree, possession of methamphetamine, 3rd or subsequent offense, and in 2018 of burglary, 2nd degree. Each are felony convictions, which prohibit Tuttle from possessing a firearm or ammunition. On April 4th of last year, Spencer police stopped Tuttle riding his bike in the dark without taillights or reflectors, and it was determined Tuttle had outstanding arrest warrants, so he was placed under arrest. During a search of his backpack he was wearing, law enforcement located a .22 caliber revolver, ammunition, marijuana, knives, 1 gram of methamphetamine, and other drug use paraphernalia. Tuttle admitted to law enforcement he was a drug user. Tuttle was sentenced to 41 months imprisonment and must serve a 3-year term of supervised release following imprisonment. Tuttle remains in custody of the United States Marshal until he can be transported to a federal prison. Alan Bachelet has been installed as chairman of the Clay County Board of Supervisors for the year. He says the overall goal is always efficient and effective service, but long-term flood prevention needs to move to the top of the list of priorities.
These are top of mind for us, and the importance here is to keep the momentum going and not lose focus. You know, we've had other opportunities throughout the generations, and improvements have been made on building flood resilience. But, you know, if you don't keep talking about it, and maybe sometimes that gets tiresome, but if we don't remind ourselves of, you know, the importance of building flood resilience, you know, we'll forget. And then there'll be another generation coming behind, and we'll be surprised again, and we don't want that to happen.
Even before the flood emergency service to rural areas was on the radar.
We have adequate support currently, but it's a little bit tenuous, actually, as far as ambulance service in the county is currently set up. You know, we rely on a lot of volunteers. You know, 10 years ago we had 100 volunteers that were pitching in for EMS kind of things. We're down to, I think, 47 now. And, you know, like all of us, they're getting older. So we're going to have to find a way to close that gap on EMS. And then I think our emergency communications and the Emergency Operations Center needs to be modernized and brought online with the new standards that federal and state governments have put out there.
An EMS study commissioned by the Board of Supervisors should be completed this month. Alan Bachelet was our guest Monday on The Big Interview on KICD AM. And the final crop production numbers for Iowa are in the books for 2024. George Bauer had the stats of today's Midday Farm News.
Corn for grain production in Iowa set at 2.63 billion bushels. Current year production up 4% from last year's 2.52 billion bushels. Iowa's corn for grain yield was estimated at a record 211 bushels per acre. Area harvested for grain estimated at 12.5 million acres, 100,000 acres less than 2023. Corn harvested for silage in Iowa last year, 8.16 million tons, up 7% year over year. Silage estimate 24 tons per acre, up 4 tons per acre from 2023. Producers chopped 340,000 acres last year, down 11% from 2023. Soybean production in the state of Iowa estimated at 598 million bushels, up